You're about to go on an unusual journey back in time and also forward into a future that never happened. You're going to explore the vision of a man who never lived to see finished what he started. A magical house concealed in a secret Cotswold Valley where it has remained untouched by the passing of nearly 150 years. This is the story of a unique house, designed not just to be lived in by the prosperous family for whom it was to be built, but in which its new owners would lead godly lives and earn their places in heaven. The spirit and the details of its design were inspired by the great Gothic churches and cathedrals of the Middle Ages, and reproduces their architectural engineering as well as their fine craftsmanship. Let's go down the passage that no one took, through the door that no one opened, into the house that was never finished. Woodchester Mansion in South Gloucestershire is one of the world's most unusual and splendid heritage sites. It's not a ruin, it's a moment suspended in time. Inside this great house, an English gentleman of inherited wealth who had converted to the Roman Catholic form of Christianity was going to live out his days on earth. His name was William Lee. His grand staircase was built to lead to and from his private chapel, and was wide enough for the monks with whom he planned to share his house to process up and down. The principal corridor of his house was built to look like the nave of a great cathedral, but it was also to be a private house. Let's look and see what one of the grand reception rooms would have looked like. Today, it is a stone shell with rough, unplastered walls and no ceiling, just as its builders left it in 1877. But we can use our imaginations and the drawings the architects left behind to see what Mr. Lee and his builders intended. Every rich Victorian gentleman needed his own private library. William Lee's was to be vaulted like a chapel with an elaborate stone ceiling. Bosses or ceiling centerpieces would have been carved by stonemasons lying on their backs. Let's imagine what the library would have looked like with a fire burning in its hearth and ornate fitted bookcases carved in the Gothic style of the mansion's architecture. Let's look inside one book that has survived from the time of the Lees, the family photograph album. William Lee, his wife Caroline, his son Willie, his daughters, more pictures show us the architects who were involved in building his extraordinary mansion. The unfinished bathroom is on the first floor. Mr. Lee's bathwater was to flow through taps carved as animal heads from solid stone, like the gargoyles on the outside of the building that gushed rainwater. From the bath, Mr. Lee would have seen a carving on the fireplace showing the Garden of Eden. And even the shower, which must have been quite futuristic for a mid-Victorian mansion, was designed in the same dramatic way, with cold water gushing from a gargoyle in the ceiling. And the bath itself is carved from solid stone, like an ancient sarcophagus or coffin. The mansion shares many ancient building techniques that we can see today because it was never finished. On the first floor, we can see the slots that were cut into heavy stones, allowing a metal pin to be inserted, which was attached to a chain, allowing them to be lowered into place. This technique was unchanged from Roman times. After almost 25 years of building, the aging Mr. Lee reluctantly and regretfully abandoned his project. He never saw his dream realized and left it to us to imagine what he imagined, a vision of the future, locked in the past. Today, the unfinished Woodchester Mansion is regularly open to the public, visiting schools, and other groups. In addition to being a major heritage visitor site, this unique building is used for the training of craft skills students in the Woodchester Mansion Trust's Living Classroom program. Find more details on our website at www.woodchestermansion.org.uk.